today's video, we are going to be talking about how to master the for sale by owner listing and how to book more appointments from FSBOs. So starting off, it's important to know with a little bit of statistics that 36% of sellers try for sale by owners, but only 11% actually succeed. Now, actually, how I want to start this video is you understanding that some people do actually sell their home for sale by owner. They do it successfully. Now, whether or not they got the most amount of money that they could, or whether it was a smooth process is a different debate for a different day. What I want to talk about is making sure that we have the mindset, just like going into any other lead source, that we might miss some. And what I mean by miss some is that there are going to be for sale by owners that we prospect, that we feel like we've got or we've built a good relationship with, that does actually successfully sell their house via for sale by owner. I do not want that to discourage you, because I want you to know that while 36% of sellers try it, only 11% succeed. So the majority of the time, the for sale by owner listing that you are prospecting and that you are building a relationship with is going to use an agent to sell their house, right? And so what we've got to think through when we are talking to a for sale by owner is this is a long game. If you think you're going to convert more appointments by just making one phone call to the FSBO on the day that it listed, you are very wrong. You might get a few wins, and if you book a listing appointment from that very first call, we will absolutely do cartwheels. But where agents who master this process actually win is they nurture that relationship over a 3 or 4 week process. Most FSBOs get tired, or they tire out around 3 to 4 weeks of being on the market, especially when they've not gotten showings or feedback on their actual showings. And the only way for us to know that is if we continually follow up with that FSBO owner, so that we can figure out what the showings have been like and what the activity has been like. And so your goal is to lengthen this process as much as possible to see how much value we can pack into a 3 or 4 week process, right? Your goal is to provide so much value that sellers come to you and call you to say, hey, you've kept up with me. You've showed me a lot of value. You've practically been working for me. I think it's time that I test out the market, and there's no other agent I would rather go with other than you, right? That happens all the time with agents who actually take the time to master this process with a proper follow-up system. And so the first thing that I want you to create is a for sale by owner guide. Now, we are going to give value here. We are going to give away some of the secret sauce here in order to help the FSBO actually feel really good about the value that we are providing them, right? Because again, we're hoping that we provide enough value that they say, oh my gosh, they definitely did not have to do that. They're not getting paid to do that, but I'm actually really, really thankful for that, right? And so I want you to create something like this. I helped Tim create this. This is the for sale by owner marketing toolkit. It is just a very simple 10 to 12 page document. The first page obviously says benefits of listing with this team. And then we've got a couple of tips, right? Properly prepared, making sure you price it right, preparing your home for showings, marketing your home, how to negotiate, so on and so on and so on. Part of this is to overwhelm them, right? And show them everything that it takes to actually sell their house if they want to do it by themselves. And then part of it is also to show that value in some of the things that we could take off of their plate, right? And so we want to also talk them through the buyer process so that they are familiar with what they are walking into, and they can feel like they've at least been educated on the buyer process, so that if it does go under contract, they know a little bit more about the process because of you. And again, our goal is to educate so much so that we prove to them that we are the professional that they should hire, right? I also like to give pricing tips. I never, ever, ever like to price a for sale by owner or give them advice on what the price should actually be. However, I will give them pricing tips of look up or call your neighbors to see what they sold their house for, and that should give you a really good ballpark on where you should land. Now, 90%, I made that number up. Most for sale by owners get the price wrong. That is the number one reason why their house isn't selling, outside of all of the other tips and tricks that real estate agents use to sell their house. Now, another really great value add you can do is you can offer to either come through the home to give them feedback on how to prepare their home for showings, or have some form of document that allows them or shows them how to prepare their homes for showings. I've actually got a document that I can show you that this same team uses in their for sale by owner kit. So this is a preparing your for photos and for showing. just kind of a checklist that they can go through to properly market their FSBO. Something else that I like to do, and again, I like to spread out this contact over a 3 to 4 week period. And maybe week 2, I will follow up with the proper documents and forms that they will need for when they do go under contract. So in some states, like in South Carolina, which is the state that I do my business in, we have to have a property condition disclosure. The seller has to disclose any problems that they know with the house, and there's a proper form. So we will oftentimes drop that off to the FSBO owner on week 2 and say, hey, this is something that most buyers will want to see. You actually have to fill this out. So I would recommend this is how you do it. This is all the information you need. They will be really grateful for you actually dropping that off. We will again go over maybe what an offer or what a contract would look like so that they understand what exactly they're signing up for or what they are negotiating against, right? I've coached a couple of agents who have done this really successfully, and they will offer a couple of for sale signs for FSBOs, and it will be branded either to the team or to the agent or with their face on it or not. I've had some agents that want to do it, but then the FSBO doesn't want it because there's a certain pride of selling it on their own. And also they will want the homeowner will want their phone number on the sign. But either way, providing signs for FSBOs, granted you do get them back, can be a very simple value add that many FSBOs actually really appreciate. Now, a strategy that I absolutely love is offering to hold an open house for that FSBO. And so, one, it's a win-win because the leads that you get from that FSBO will actually be yours, but you are doing the homeowner a solid by one, utilizing your connections and actually marketing the open house. Like you can market the open house just like you would at your listing. You'll post on social media, you'll send an email blast to real estate agents, you'll do some outreach, some prospecting around the open house, right? So there are ways that you can get business from that open house, but you're also going to potentially, at least from the seller's point of view, do an awesome deed for the seller in attempting to actually physically sell their house for them by holding an open house. This can go a long way. We have booked so many listing appointments from offering to do open houses. We do the successful open house. Agents come through, clients come through, customers come through, they give feedback on the house. Next thing you know, we are doing a listing appointment showing how we can do many more of these or how we can get more traffic through their house, whether it be just via showings or just putting their home on the market. I've mentioned this already, but I want to really hone in on following up, follow up, right? The way that you're going to win this is not by one phone call. It's going to be following up and showing up to their house with the FSBO guide, with documents and form they need to sign, with the for sale sign, doing an open house for them or multiple open houses. The more you are in contact with this FSBO, the more likely you are going to get business from that FSBO, right? That FSBO is the majority of the time going to list their house with an agent. If you've done all of this for them, don't you think that they would choose you as an agent? FSBOs can be a gold mine because a lot of times they don't know a real estate agent. If their best friend was a real estate agent, don't you think that they would have hired them to sell their home? No, they are wide open to a relationship that you can swoop in and gather just because you have provided so much value over the last 2 or 3 weeks and giving them the documents they need. Again, can you see why you are practically working for them without them even paying you? And so then when it comes time to say, hey, I think I want to hire a real estate agent or I want to understand what a real estate agent does for the sale of my home or what they can do, then it will be a no-brainer that they will want to hire you. You will most likely be the only agent that they interview for the job because you've shown up time and time and time again. Pro tip, the real pain happens after 7 days of them being listed, right? There's this excitement about them getting their home on the market, FSBO, and then next thing you know, there's not been any showings, there's not been any activity. They've missed several phone calls. They're trying to get in contact with people. A ton of frustration begins to happen after day 7. And this is a prime opportunity for you to reach out and ease some of those pain points with some things that you could probably do. And you can explain to them, hey, I would love to meet to go over these pain points, book yourself the listing appointment, and then show them why it is worth it to invest into a real estate agent because they are most likely going to net more money, which is the main reason that they were wanting to do a FSBO, but we can also take the burden of selling your house off of you at the same time, right? And so that you don't have to answer your phone, you don't have to worry about showings and gathering feedback. We are going to do all of that for you, right? We are going to make sure your house is properly marketed. All of these things you don't have to do, right? Again, your goal here is to create a relationship. Definitely check in on showing activity and feedback. Um, that can be such a great value to any homeowner, and you should obviously know that as an agent. But it is one that FSBOs have a hard time tracking down, whether someone just comes through unrepresented or they have a hard time actually getting a hold of the other real estate agent for that feedback. And so but that's also going to be a really good indicator of the type of consultation that you are going to have with the seller whenever you are able to kind of swoop in and solve their pain points, but also digest the showing activity and the feedback with them, and then show them how we can actually combat that feedback and how we can kind of change some things around or change the strategy so that we can solve the problem that potential buyers and agents have with the home. Then it's a win-win, right? You've actually shown them a ton of value by doing that and by analyzing what that showing activity and feedback is that they have probably gathered. All right, lastly, just as a follow-up tip, outside of actually showing up, handwritten notes and videos have gone a long way in our FSBO marketing campaigns. Us doing videos and handwritten notes shows them that we are actually we hold their relationship as something of meaningful value, that we are making these videos and these handwritten notes very personal to them. And again, it's a 3 to 4 week venture of writing this one FSBO or 10 FSBOs and handwritten note a week and doing a video follow up and saying, "Hey, I saw this activity, or I saw that this neighbor's home was listed. What did you think now that your home is listed?" Just some sort of video follow up and then some form of handwritten note to follow that up with is going to go leaps and bounds. No one else is following up on a regular basis with video or with handwritten notes. And that is going to help you win that appointment more so than the other agent that is just calling them once to see if they would entertain a listing agent coming in to explain why they think that they could be a fit to sell their home. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you were able to take a few tips and tricks away on how to master the FSBO game. I hope that you are able to add FSBOs as a lead source, a successful lead source that you can scale. If you want more tips and tricks on how to scale your real estate business, check out my other videos. Lastly, if you also have interest in hopping on a call with me so that I can go over and explain how I can jump into your business and help you scale your business, there will be a link below that you can book a time slot on my calendar. I would love to go over how I can help you scale your business. Hope to see you soon.